Yeah. Okay, so today is the 25th day of Tammuz, the 21st of July, and you can sit next to each other. So we finished with the parable of the sun. We said, and the main thing to take out of the sun is not what I talked about yesterday. I just said that scientifically we understand it differently today, but the main thing is what he says now. We said that the light that comes out of the sun does not change the sun at all. What do we mean by that?
It doesn't take away from the power.
We say it does, but look at this example. This example is classic. It's beautiful. It's like, I don't need to go into the sun to know this. How do I know this? שמאור השמש בעצמותו נמשך בהשוואה אחת, נמשך ממילא ממנו, כי כך היא סגולתו בטבעו שבראו השם יתברך כך. Because this is how Hashem created it, to illuminate, to give light. And the example is, the proof for this is, ולכן אם יהיה ענן ולא ימשך זיוו בחלל העולם, לא יתרבה כוחו. If the sunlight is blocked by overcast skies, the sun doesn't get any stronger. Because
you mean it doesn't need to be any stronger to get through?
No.
What do you mean?
If the light was blocked,
yeah,
and you would say, how do we think about it? We think about it that the sunlight is coming out of, it's extending out of the sun. Okay. If that was the case, then when the sunlight can't get to its destination, then the sun should be stronger. Think about it.
It's only if you're thinking that it's using up energy.
But don't think about energy. Just think about it.
Gasoline in the tank.
I understand. Think about it logically. If I have a source, and the source cannot influence, it cannot give off what it wants, it should remain inside. Whatever it's giving off should remain inside. But that's not happening. It's not happening. The sunlight is being stopped by the sky, by the clouds. It's not getting down to its destination. Yes. And yet the sun is not becoming more full because of that. Okay? This is an example of light. This is what he wants to say is an example of light. Light does not create a change. Whether it happens or it doesn't happen, it won't create a change in the sun itself. So now how will we explain it scientifically? We'll say like this, that the process of the sun creating energy is the sun itself. That's the sun. Whether this energy leaves the sun or doesn't leave the sun matters nothing to the sun. The sun will continue being the way it is. So what we're saying is that the energy, whether it extends or doesn't extend out, bears no relevance to what the sun is. The sun will continue being exactly the same thing. No, and then it fits with our science. Because it fits with our science. Because our science is saying...
Our science, okay, yeah.
The way we understand the sun is that it's a nuclear fusion reaction.
Yes.
And that's happening anyway.
Yes.
What if the energy has nowhere to go? It's not going to be reabsorbed and become more fuel for the fusion reaction. It's simply different. It's not what's going to happen. It's something else.
If a tree falls in the forest, there's no one to hear it.
Right. That's the same idea. That the tree doesn't lose anything from the fact that someone hears it or doesn't hear it. Absolutely. It's all the same.
Okay, that's a good.
So these are examples of light, not flow. Because the flow doesn't matter. There's no shadow. We're not talking about. Compared to the sun illuminating for 1,000 years, it makes no difference. The sun will continue to do what it's doing. The fusion reaction will continue, whether this energy goes out or doesn't go out. It matters nothing to it. וכיוצא בהם והדברים המהירים שבראם השם יתברך ונתן בהם טבע זו להיות המשכה מהם שהוא האורה ממילא עד שלא יפעל בהם שינוי. And there are many other examples, and we said in another, the main article, main essay where he explains this, he gives 5 different examples of things that work by or and he'elem v'gilui, meaning concealment and revelation. And these things, it matters not at all to them whether they are concealed or revealed. It changes nothing in them. But they can be concealed and they can be revealed. מה שאין כן בשערי הנמצאים שלא יתבע בהם השם דורך סגולה זאת. And he says this is a special sgula, it's a special trait that certain things have. Those things that don't have this special trait, כשישפיעו הם ישתנו בעצמותם. When they influence, they change. They cannot help but change. But there are certain things in the world that when they influence, they encounter absolutely no change. Okay? I was thinking about this morning because of Daf Yomi. Actually, tomorrow's Daf Yomi. It doesn't matter, same thing. That in the time of the Talmud, the words for Or v'Shefa were different. It's very interesting. How did you say Or in the time of the Talmud? Both of them mean something about the object itself. So there's two different words that we would use in the time of the Talmud. In the time of the Talmud there was be'ein. We say be'ein. Bet ein yud nun. That means it's like eyesight, but we mean it's like the thing is be'ein. Something is there. You see it. Okay? But to say the thing in and of itself is there. It's like when in the Daf Yomi now it's talking about whether there's residue of wine in a flask. So, is it be'ein? Is it there? Can you see it? Can you actually see it? Can you actually measure it? Is it there? And then slowly the word became be'etzim. The word became the etzim, which is the word that, again, the thing. Now it's very interesting because be'ein is eye, and etzim is bone. So what happened? It used to be that for something to be there, these are just preliminary thoughts, but for something to be there was something you saw with your eye, and slowly it became something that was like a bone, bones you don't see, but they're very apparent. That became the word for something. So it went from something more spiritual, more like light in the eye, to something more like sustenance, something real, like flow, like shefa. So it's a reverse process. And you need to think about this, why it changed in the Talmud in that direction. In any case, in Kabbalah it changed from shefa to ol. Now, this is a big chiddush in Chabad. I've never seen anyone talk about this elsewhere. From shefa to or. Noting this
is only in Chabad Chassidus.
As far as I know, it could be that it's based on Reb Meir Ibn Gabai. I have something in the back of my head, but I don't remember specifically. But it's a very big deal in Chabad, this change from shefa to ol. And why is this? Because this is the only way for the Alter Rebbe and for the Tzemach Tzedek now to explain how is it that Hashem creates and He's not affected by it. Because what is He saying? He's saying Hashem is like the sun. He is influencing, but without change, so you can't call it influence. It's not influence. He's illuminating. You have to change the language. You have to change the way you think about it. That it's whether there is a world or there isn't a world doesn't matter to Hashem. Meaning, in other words, if His creation exists or doesn't exist, for Him Himself it doesn't matter. He does not change because of it. So that means if the very existence of reality doesn't matter, so all the more so what we do doesn't matter. Okay? There's that level. That's called Ani Havaya Lo Shaniti. I, Hashem, have not changed. Now there are lower levels. We said that He functions through the Sfirot. He's invested in the Sfirot where it does matter. The Sfirot do change. They're not the same thing. But by Hashem, I have to change the language. I can't say influence, because the moment I say influence, everything that is influence is governed, we would say, by the spiritual counterpart of Newton's first law of mechanics, which is for every reaction there is an opposite. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so that would have to, but that's by influence, and then you understand that this is like a force working. That's what influence is. But Hashem is not doing it that way, and the mashal for that, the parable, is illumination rather than this extension or influence. So this is a very, very big deal by the Alter Rebbe, because it really wasn't solved before him. This question of how do you account for this verse that says Hashem doesn't change, as opposed to seeing that the world is constantly changing. How do you? So either Hashem is not the world, or He's changing. Those are the only two options. So he says, no, He's the world and He's not changing. In the same way that all the light on the earth is from the sun, but the sun doesn't change because of that light. Yeah.
So what if he changes? The sun does
It goes
change.
against
The
the.
sun does change.
It goes against the
It
verse.
becomes a dense little rock.
Okay. That, we say, but
Rolls
that's
off the outer
but that's its inner
If
process.
Hashem
Yeah.
changes, we don't understand what that means.
Yes, you do.
What do we know?
You just said about the sun. You understand what change means, and then Hashem is not eternal.
No, Hashem's eternal.
No, he's not
We just
eternal.
don't
If he's
understand what
eternity, doesn't just mean how long you exist.
No.
It also means we have to exist exactly the same.
The sun has issues. Hashem does
What?
not. The sun has issues. Hashem does not.
They said it, but we have to try to understand it with our mind, because there's a verse that says that he doesn't change. So how do I understand that?
Well,
Because my thinking is that I'm always in an interaction with him, and the world is changing. So if Hashem is the world, why is he not changing?
I think it's a matter of like what we understand and don't understand.
Of course, but we have a duty. That's exactly what we're learning. That we have a duty to try to understand as much as we can. At some point, you might say you give up and you say, "For now, I don't. This is as far as my understanding carries me." But that's why we started off. This was the whole premise here, that there's a mitzvah to believe and there's a mitzvah to know. And the mitzvah to know means that you have to invest yourself as much as you can in your thought in order to try to understand Hashem, to understand what you believe. I've said at some point you'll come to an impasse and you'll say, dead end, I don't know, I can't go any further right now.
It's an assumption. What bothers me is an assumption.
That
Change is bad. Or change somehow.
it's not bad or good.
Or interferes with faith or eternal or anything like that.
It's an interference with being eternal. Something eternal doesn't change. That's the whole point. Okay. To be eternal is to be steadfast, constant. Doesn't change. That I can always count on him. He doesn't change. For instance, if he would change his mind about the Jewish people, change his mind about the Torah, then we'd be in trouble. It has to be eternal. Eternal means it doesn't change.
You can be eternal. You can have changes. You can live camel and change its spots.
Chameleon.
It still lives.
It's constantly changing, so it doesn't live. That's the whole point. It can't live forever.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't live forever.
Concept of life.
Life is not constant. That's exactly the problem, because it changes, because it's an open system.